welcome. It's that time. Yes, once again, the Patriot Radio News Hour. Happy Tuesday. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. We've got it ingrained into your brain. The website at allamericangold.com. We got the pictures up from our trip to Colorado. They're up on the main page. Make sure we posted them all to Facebook. As you're looking, make sure you friend us, like us. I'm not sure what it is, friend or like. I get confused, but whatever it is, do it. It's taken us a while. I'm a little slow, but we are definitely going to be increasing our social media presence. So be a part of it. You can see all the pictures. You know what's so funny is I was looking through the pictures, and there's actually a picture of me, and I had a plate of food, and it looked so good, and I never got to eat it, but yet there it was, and it just, oh man, I just wanted it. It made me hungry, and I was looking. I just started laughing because I had it in my hand, but I just never was able to sit down and eat. But if you want to check out the pictures, they're right up on our website via Facebook. And make sure while you're there, like us, friend us. I'm not sure, whatever it is. I'm not down with it. But I'm going to get better at it. But we are definitely going to start ramping up the social media presence. I want to officially say this, too. Colorado, when you order from here on out, if you want to pick it up in Johnstown and save on the shipping, that is now available to everybody. Now you have no excuse if you want to do business with us, if this is where you're getting your information, this is where you should be doing your business, and now you won't have an excuse because you can pick it all up there. But the same process, you'll call the 800 number, we'll take the order, we'll handle all of that, and then you can pick everything up there in Colorado at 800-951-0592. A lot of ground to cover today. We got gold rallying, silver rallying. The Dow is down 100. Boy, it's just every day now, right? It's 100-point moves every day. And most days it's 200 or 300 points because a lot of times it'll be like this. Early this morning, it was up 100, over 100. Now it's down 100. I mean, just the seesawing back and forth. We had some CPI data out, the Consumer Price Index. We'll break that down for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are under attack. In another example of that, the professor bringing me all the intel. This is something we hear about the gun thing. And by the way, hey, Dick's made an announcement. Yeah, sales are down because of our stance on the gun issue. Good. And I hear these arguments like, well, when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have these kinds of weapons. So, if they did, they wouldn't have wrote it that way. Yeah, they would have. They had whatever was the weapon of the day, the latest and the greatest in technology. They let their citizenry use it. They didn't say, hey, you have the right to bear arms except for the ones that the military use. They didn't say that because they knew who it was that you may have to bear arms against was them. But that was the whole point of it. And people seem to forget that, and I just love this huge overreaction to this new society where somehow they need to write all these laws to save us from ourselves, right? I mean, it's really gone crazy. Big stories out. 2 states now are trying to pass laws about homeschooling your kids. Yeah. Why? Because of that wacko couple that had, I don't know how many kids, they had like the 13 kids or something like that. Yeah, now they got to save us because, it's the homeschooling, it's those parents that cause the trouble. Maryland and California have both introduced bills that are going to allow the state to intrude on the lives of all you people out there that want to make sure your kids are getting a proper education and schooling them at home. Yeah, now you're next, right? You're next. In Maryland, Bill HB 1798, the County Boards of Education Home Instruction Program. Yeah, they want to be able to go into your home at any time they see fit. Make sure you're not abusing and neglecting the children. And I'm sitting there going, what logic are they using? That some nutbag husband and wife in California somehow means now we got to write this legislation that anybody that just because they happen to, what if they were sending their kids to public school? But no, since they did, now we're going to do this instead. Just like the gun thing. Let's make the law 21. That kid was 19. He didn't even go to high school anymore. What was that going to? Was he going to wait? He would have had to wait another 18 months to do it. I don't know. It makes no sense. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back right after the break. They're coming for us. Coming to a state near you. I was just in Colorado. It's practically a blue state already. So now they're talking about a bill for all of you people that want to homeschool your children, which, by the way, is very, very much a growing trend in this country. And it's not for the reasons that you would like to believe. It's because, you know what? They know the type of education they're getting at these schools, and they don't want their kids exposed to this crap. You know, one of my younger son, he's a freshman in high school, one of his best friends. Great family, great kids. They got 4 kids. They homeschool them until high school, and a lot of that, at least here in Arizona, that's pretty trendy. They homeschool them until high school, and, you know, when they're a little more mature and a little more ready, and then they've built that solid foundation. And according to the bill, and this is going on in both California and Maryland, and you know that's going to, get ready, right? Because it's coming to Oregon and Washington and Illinois and New York, right? Everybody that wants, the government's got to save us from everything. That the parents need to register with the state. And the bill lays out a framework for involuntary home inspections with state agents that will enter the family's home multiple times a year. That's what we have. Let's hire some more people to go spy on other people. Likely unannounced, and observe and inspect the homeschooling process. So, and again, I want to reiterate, this is a reaction to a bill that was proposed in California after the turbines, right? David and Louise Turbin, they had the 13 kids that were locked up and shackled and all that stuff. And I guess my question is, well, okay, apparently those kids were homeschooled. What about all these kids that are at public school that have these issues? Should we do that too, right? I got a great idea. You know what? Since one kid was being abused, let's just put the law in for everybody. So everybody in America now, we can have a government agent, a representative of the government walk into our home and make sure we're not abusing our kids. It says that in the household, the child's primary instructor, which is usually somebody online, so I'm not sure how they would do that. They would have to inform the county school boards of the child's primary instructor the primary location where the homeschooling is taking place. And in order to legally homeschool in the state of Maryland, parents would be required to allow a representative of the county board to observe the instruction at the family's primary homeschooling location at least twice a year. Brilliant. Finally, the bill would require school board employees who observe a family's instruction and who believe a homeschool child has been subjected to abuse or neglect to report their suspicions to the proper authority. Again, what do you think the next step would be? Hey, you know what? We just need to do it for everybody. Because I don't know. I don't have facts. This is just purely my opinion. But far more kids get abused and go to public school than the kids being homeschooled. That's just my opinion. Matter of fact, my guess would be far more kids get abused that go to public school, charter schools, and private schools than homeschooled. But maybe the reality is it's the same. So how far away are we to, you know what, you just need to have your annual inspection. That time it's a 6-month inspection. Everybody line up. And I just, by the way, the bill in Maryland, HB 1798, Frank Turner is the guy that is the one that is the co-sponsor. And his response to the question as to why, his answer was recent news about homeschoolers indicating that the tragedy that happened there with the turnips or whatever their name is the reason for the legislation and more government oversight. And, and you just start thinking about, and remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about the media and all the media, and it doesn't matter anymore. This is another thing that's changed. The news, the local news in Arizona and Colorado and California and Maryland and Florida and Iowa and New York, it's all owned by the same people. And they all read the same thing. So whatever it is that they want you to believe is what they're going to say. And it's never ending. And you know what? It's spreading. Right? Because all of these failed blue states, right? All of them, they're all moving here. They're moving to Arizona. They're moving to Colorado. They're moving to Texas, right? Did you see Democratic registration voters in Texas exploding, right? Because why? Because they're all bailing out. Now they're going to root our state. Just amazing, though. This is just another example of whatever happened to common sense.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
The 9 most terrifying words. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And it's just another great example of what really is happening. We're all trying to put our finger on the pulse of what it is that's got us all wrapped up and worried. And you think about yesterday, we talked about how Costco is selling the $6,000, what they call the prepper kit, because they know. Costco's got their finger on the pulse. They get it. You think they brought it in because they don't sell? Of course they sell. We're getting closer and closer, and this is just a huge part of what's happened here. Our freedoms and our everything's being taken away from us, and it's all planned. The fact that you go out and you work yourself to the bone, you do your job. A lot of people in this country now have to work 2 and 3 jobs. husband's working, wife's working, kids are working. And at the end of the month, you're still broke. Plan. It's part of the plan. You would sit there, oh, no, it's yes, it is. Right? You look at the inequality, that's part of the plan. The more people that we can get to live paycheck to paycheck or a little, or can't quite even live paycheck to paycheck, the more control we can have. The more we can dictate to people what they can and cannot do. Because without the government, then they can't do anything. So they'll do whatever we say. We control the media. We control the message. We control the fact that nobody makes any money. You don't think that's the plan? Look at the last round of taxes. And I warned you. Listen, I'm all for tax cuts. I am. But I'm not for giving them away to corporations that don't return it to the employees that make the company. By the way, the stock buyback number just doesn't. Every day I look, it's more and more and more. It's all they're doing. Enriching themselves. CPI data, we talked about the jobs data, right? Oh, that real hot wage data gone. No one's making any more money. I told you. Today, the CPI, that was the big report, and this is what's been moving the market today, was the CPI report as far as what's happening with the consumer prices. And it was sad. Because this is how the government views it. They said the February CPI print, 2.2% year over year. February was up 0.2%, which was less than expected. And I'm sorry, did I get that? I may have just said that wrong. It was 2.2, I'm sorry, 2.2% in January, 1.8%. My apologies, 1.8% in February. But you know what was funny is the government listed some items of how they came up with that number. And they talked about how television sets have gotten really cheap. But that, and they said television sets, some apparel stuff got cheaper. And then they listed the things that didn't get cheaper. And they were talking about car insurance, medical. And I started laughing because I tried to think of at least myself, and everyone's a little different. But how often do you buy a TV? Wendy, impromptu. Wendy, she actually knew. She just said 7 years ago. I don't remember at least 7 years ago, maybe 10 since I bought a television. Let's just say that maybe once every 10 years you buy a TV. The problem is I need to pay my car insurance every month. Right? I need to pay my medical insurance every month. I need to pay my co-pays every month. So when they listed all this stuff, they listed a bunch of stuff that got cheaper that you don't, that maybe you buy once every 5 or 10 years. And the stuff that got more expensive is the stuff that you got to pay for every single month. And then they try to tell you that there's no inflation. But this is the number that was driving the market. This is the dollar falling. The Dow is down. Actually, the Dow's down 82 points. More issues with the Chinese. The New York Federal Reserve taking a shot at some of the Chinese banks, saying that they don't believe that the Chinese banks are in compliance and creating a big swing in the market. The dollar is down about 50 basis points, 89 and change again, and gold's up what? Gold's up 5, almost 6, 13.27. Silver's at $16.53. and most of it based upon the less than expected CPI. So here's, again, we're going to count a bunch of stuff that you don't need to offset the stuff you got to pay for every month, and then say there's no inflation, and then wonder why so many people are living paycheck to paycheck, but then not admit that that's the plan. Of course that's the plan. I mean, how far away are we from having the home inspectors coming to everybody's houses? Right, hi, we're here from the Home Inspection Agency. Want to make sure you're not doing anything you shouldn't be doing. Let us in. Show us where your kids sleep, and show us what you're doing. Where's the educational programming going on? I'd like to see that location. Make sure you don't have any tinfoil helmets on in the basement. Amazing. 800-951-0592. If you don't want to be part of the plan, there's only one thing you can buy that isn't part of the system, and that's gold and silver. Patriot Radio News Hour got a great special coming up next.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the conservative pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
Today is an excellent chance to remember two heroes that defended our American values. The first died on this day, March 13th, in 1906. She was the legendary activist Susan B. Anthony. Raised a Quaker, her religious upbringing instilled in her the concept that everyone is equal before God. This motivated her to crusade for many causes, including the abolition of slavery and a woman's right to vote. One cause she is known well for today is her defense of the unborn. Quoted in her newspaper, The Revolution, in July 1869, Susan B. Anthony stated, "I deplore the horrible crime of child murder. No matter what the motive, love of ease or desire to save from suffering the unborn innocent, the woman is awfully guilty who commits the deed. It will burden her conscience in life. It will burden her soul in death. But oh, thrice guilty is he who drove her to the desperation which impels her to the crime." These strong words remind us that even before our modern science could show us the development of unborn children in utero, Americans like Susan B. Anthony and Phyllis Schlafly instinctively recognized an individual human life that is entitled to its God-given right to life. These two powerful women understood the driving principle behind the abortion debate and took every opportunity to defend life. Phyllis put it very well in a famous speech from 1994. She said, "The Declaration of Independence does not mention abortion, but you will search in vain for a single affirmation that the Creator-endowed right to life was to be withheld from a baby until the moment of birth." Every new advance in science confirms that the unique individual identity of each of us is present, human, alive, and growing before the mother knows she's pregnant. Roe v. Wade legalized the terminations of the unborn baby throughout 9 months of pregnancy, and that effectively makes the baby the property of the mother. In the tradition of Abraham Lincoln, we assert that no human being, born or unborn, can be considered the property of another.
Thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report. You'll be glad to know the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly continues, upheld by Ed Martin, president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, chairman Helen Marie Taylor, treasurer John Schlafly, a full staff in St. Louis and our nation's capital, and thousands of citizen volunteers, her Eagles, across the country. You can be part of that legacy at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com.
Eight 800-951-0592. We got to laugh about it. I mean, it's happening right in front of us, and the vast majority don't even realize this is the plan. But they come out and say, "Oh, we got full employment." And look at the great jobs growth. When we did, there was a great number. I mean, it was all part-time jobs, but it was a great number. How many years now are we on the, wages are going to rise. It's just around the corner. Any minute now, they're going to start making some money. And yet every year that goes by, millions more slide. Right? The largest shrinking of the classes is the middle class. And my guess, and again, I don't have the exact number, and I may be understating it. For every one person that gets into the upper class, 10,000 fall out of the middle class. Maybe 20,000. That's a plan. Right? And it's not happening just right now. This has been 25 years, maybe even 30, really. That is a plan. Now, remember what I've been telling you. You better start paying attention, and you better start doing what these other central banks are doing, because they're telling you what the plan is. We know what's happened in Germany. We know what's happened in the Netherlands. We know what's happened in Austria. We know what the Russians and the Chinese, India, Brazil, we know what they're all been doing. They've been buying gold, repatriating gold, and then lo and behold, today another country. This time the Hungarian National Bank said, you know what? We don't have a lot of gold, but the gold we got, time to bring it home. They have notified England that they are now going to repatriate all of their gold that has been held in the Bank of England since like World War I. Adding to the growing list the number of banks repatriating their gold. Matter of fact, Hungary has been storing their gold in England since 1924. What do you think's changed? All of a sudden, you think about it, it's been there for, just under 100 years. 90-some-odd years, the gold's been sitting there, and all of a sudden today, they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're just going to go pick it up. Right? We're going to drive over to your house, we're going to ring the door, we're going to pick it up, we're going to take it back to our place. According to the largest gold reserves in the world, right, still belong to the U.S. and Germany. But we know that most people believe that that China is probably the second largest holder. They just don't tell us. And we know that Russia's moved up to the fifth largest holder, and there's a reason why. Because they already know. They know the plan. Right? And make no mistake about it. That's the plan. It's going to zero. It always goes to zero. We just don't want you to know it's going to zero, and you're all going to end up dead broke, and then we'll start all over again, and all the rich people take advantage. Be your own central bank. We're going to help you do it today. This is all Wendy. Wendy Wendy reached out to this wholesaler last week before we left to Colorado. We had run a great special on those $5 Liberties, the old ones, the 1866 to 1907s. I think at the time they were what, $370. Matter of fact, today they're $375. You're going to save $20, all the way down to $355 a coin, and this is fractional material, right? And you need the fractions. And especially when you can buy the fractions for pretty much what you can buy a 1 ounce for. That doesn't happen. And to be able to get this close, to be able to buy 4 or 5, this close to what you could buy a $20 gold piece for, It's an opportunity you can't let go by. I mean, you're paying about an extra $7.50, $7.25 to have a fractional coin, to have all the way down to the quarter ounce. Absolutely worth it. We don't know what's going to happen. How close are we to all of this just completely breaking down? We seemingly have half of the country has simply lost their mind. Right? We're not going to turn over felons. We want to protect the murderers and the rapists. We want to go after the good people that try to educate their kids. It's absolutely incredible. Get the guns out of their hands. Don't allow them to protect themselves. This is part of the plan. $5 liberties, $3.55, and remember, Front Range. If you want to pick up in Colorado, you can now do so and save yourself the shipping cost. U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces, $355 at 800-951-0592. When we get back, we're going to talk about Home Depot actually doing what I would say is a good thing. About time. Putting Americans to work is what we need to be doing. I'm going to tell you what Home Depot is doing. Maybe something we should do, and I said this to a couple of buddies of mine. The report out of the USA Today, of course, Home Depot makes a big deal, and they should. They're going to spend a whole whopping $50 million. I mean, they bought back, I don't know how many tens of billions of dollars they spent on buying their own stock back, but they're going to throw us a bone, $50 million. They want to train veterans and young Americans to be, working in the construction industries. And I think that's a great idea. They're going to try to train 20,000 Americans, veterans and soldiers and young people, disadvantaged youth, pretty much anybody that wants to. Why aren't we taking veterans and trying to get them to be teachers? Wouldn't that be a great solution? Right? He's an Army vet. He's got his gun. He's ready to protect. Patriot Radio News Hour. Be your own central bank. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. It really is a joke. $50 million. I mean, listen, the plan, right? Hey, let's get a nice headline. Home Depot to train 20,000 veterans and young Americans for construction jobs. Perfect. About time. So tired of hearing this. We don't have the skill sets. Well, I got a great idea. How about you train the most educated workforce in the world to do it? We're not educated enough, please. We got so many college degrees. There's not anywhere near enough jobs that you need a college degree for out there. And let's face it, most of the jobs they say you need a college degree for, you don't. Problem with the article, which I think is wonderful, is it's $50 million. I mean, come on. What's that going to get you? Nothing. I mean, could you imagine how great it would be if these companies were out there and just took a 20th of what they bought back their own stock and put it into training and getting whatever skill set that the workforce needs to get it? Problem is that's not the plan. They don't want you doing that. They want the illegals to come in and do it, and they want to come out and say we just can't find them. They don't have the right skill set. That nonsense. It's real simple. IT. They want to pay the guy from India $40,000 to do an $80,000 job. Period. That's the plan. They want to make sure as many people as possible that are running as hard as they can just to stay where they are. And every month they get a little further behind, a little further behind, a little further behind. That's the plan. Well, what they don't like is when it happens all at once, right? Because then people get mad. Somehow it's better if it only happens a little bit at a time. Wake up. How about this one? I told you. The U.S. recorded a $215 billion deficit in February. February, it's only got 28 days. $215 billion deficit as revenues decline. Fiscal income dropped $156 billion, down 9% from a year earlier. Spending up 2%. Do the math. Wow. $215 billion in a 28-day month. No, they're not all going to be that bad yet. Hey, by 2020, that's probably going to be the norm. By the way, public school education here, that's $2.58 trillion if you did that every month. The deficit for the fiscal year that began in October, $400 billion in climbing like a rocket ship. The data underscores by some economists, just some, that the tax cuts enacted earlier this year would increase the government debt load. There's no doubt about it. We know this. What part of it that made me so mad is we gave such a big tax cut to these businesses that really weren't going to give it back to us. By the way, remember yesterday I told you we're like, $70 billion away from $21 trillion. This is how fast things are going. We may be at 22 before the year ends. And remember yesterday, right? What did we have yesterday? What happened yesterday? Oh, the auction, the Treasury auction stumbled again. The highest Treasury yields in 11 years. Right? What do you think is going to be happening? We got a Federal Reserve. We got a rate hike coming again, here in a week? You better get ready. They say that the Steve Mnuchin, though, the Treasury Secretary from Goldman Sachs, still sticking with the tax cuts will pay for themselves. Not a chance. Increases in wages and salaries will more than offset a decline in the share of wages withheld in taxes. Apparently, he didn't get the CPI report, and he didn't get the wage report from Friday, which said, no one's really making any more money. Listen to the bald-headed fat guy on the radio. He'll just tell you. We got a lot of good part-time jobs out of it, though. And again, that's still better than what we were getting. U.S. $5 Liberties, fractional material for what? An extra $5 to $7 a coin. Isn't that worth it? Right? Think about it for just a minute. The opportunity to buy. It just doesn't happen that way. Normally, you're paying an extra $25 a coin. Now we're talking about $5 to $7, but totally worth it. U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces, $355 at 800-951-0592. And remember, Colorado now, if you want to pick your product up at the radio station, you can not have to pay the shipping charges any longer. 800-951-0592. U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces, $355 a piece. The budget deficit came out $215 billion for the shortest month of the year. We found out that California and Maryland now going after all you evil homeschoolers, all you evil doers. Let's face it, here's the real reason. It's a money problem, isn't it? right? The worse job they do, the more people don't want to send their kids there. Well, they just can't have that now, can they? Final segment coming up. We've got a little water problem in one of those blue states. That's next. Hey, here's what's coming. You want to talk about just horrible government. You know, this was a problem when the government touches anything. They can't do anything right. California. In California, cities are about to begin piping recycled sewer water back into people's homes. The California State Water Resource Control Board recently announced a new regulation that allows treated wastewater. Yeah, you know, I just made a number 2 and I flushed it. They're going to treat that to be reused for drinking water. But don't worry, it's not going to be made up of 100% retreated wastewater. A certain percentage of the recycled wastewater will just be mixed in with your fresh water. See, that'll be better. Before you drink it. After being used for a second time. Now, I don't know how they know this, that when it gets used for a second time, the recycled water blend will have to undergo a waiting period because, you know, it's better if you wait before being reused for a third time. Now, it doesn't say anything about a fourth and a fifth time, but, yep, here you go. And guess what? All of these people that led to these horrible policies, they're moving to a state near you. Yes, coming to your faucets in California, recycled wastewater. But don't worry, they're just going to mix it in a little bit. I'm sure. What could go wrong? I'm sure it's going to work perfectly. 800-951-0592. Let me tell you right now, never drinking anything out of the tap in California ever again. I try not to go there. I mean, California's a mess. Just an absolute train wreck. 800-951-0592. U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces. All the way down $3.55. By the way, gold's up $7.13.27 and change. Silver's up 10 cents, $16.60 now on silver. The Dow's just been, it was up 100 and some, then it was down 100 and some, and now I think it's back to like even right now. The Dow's up 20, the Nasdaq's down 30, the S&P's down 2. And I didn't even get to Rex Tillerson. I'll save that for tomorrow. Mike Pompeo, he's going to be taking over. I guess that's more bad news for the Chinese. We'll get to that tomorrow. But remember, so we had another central bank after, 94 years? 94 years saying we want to bring our gold home. Everybody's getting ready. Are you ready? Costco's trying to help you get ready, but I'm trying to help you get ready financially. 800-951-0592. The part-time job's not going to cut it. Home Depot's going to, out of the kindness of their hearts, going to spend a whopping $50 million to train you how to work in construction. 800-951-0592. Once again, U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces. Within, $5 a coin? Of what you can get at 24? 800-951-0592. We'll be back tomorrow on the hump day. Everyone take care. We'll talk again tomorrow.